statements in and of themselves are not, it's not a crime.
That sounds like a plan to cause turmoil and to change the outcome of the election.
With just 10 weeks to go before the 2024 presidential election, a legal battle is heating up centered around the results of the 2020 election and an alleged scheme to overturn the outcome in Arizona. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. A number of Republicans accused of trying to falsely claim former President Trump won the state of Arizona in 2020 want the charges against them dismissed. Fox 10's Steve Nielsen has more on their court appearance earlier today.
Quite a few different strategies used by defense attorneys today in this case. We're headed back to day 2 tomorrow, arguments taking so long and what's essentially turned into a mini trial. A case moved to a larger courtroom. Jim Lehman's attorney argued the charge against his client should be thrown out.
Isn't intent a fact question to be decided by a jury?
No.
It's not?
No, because the state has no evidence.
Lehman is one of several Arizona Republicans who cited documents sent to the vice president in 2020, claiming to be the Arizona state electors. They're now charged with fraud, along with several high-profile Republicans, former Trump chief of staff Mark Meadows and Rudy Giuliani among them. Lehman's attorney said there was an election deadline, and the document had to be signed in case the court ordered a recount.
This was not some illegal scheme that was hatched, behind some bar and grill. This was out in the open. It was understood. It was never hidden. This was the plan.
The state arguing comments by many defendants in the press are counter to that.
And said, we're sending in both ballots and let Pence decide which one to accept. That does not sound like a contingency. That sounds like a plan to cause turmoil and to change the outcome of the election.
Giuliani's attorney arguing the indictment against his client is based on his words.
False statements in and of themselves are not, it's not a crime. It's not.
If Mr. Giuliani claimed there were 14,000 dead people and that was a lie,
yeah,
that's not a crime.
Exactly.
A second dismissal hearing claiming the charges are attempts to silence their free speech.
The Attorney General made no secret about what she was going to do to these defendants during her campaign.
We're headed back to court tomorrow. Some of the defense attorneys still have to speak, then we'll hear from the prosecution again. The trial, by the way, they set a date for that, January 5th, 2026. Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News.
Turning now to the current race for president, the Trump and Harris campaigns are at odds tonight over next month's planned presidential debate. Today, former President Trump suggested he may back out of the scheduled ABC News debate, accusing the network of being hostile toward Republicans and biased against him. Vice President Harris's campaign has asked that both candidates' microphones be live throughout the full broadcast. That's a change from the rules the Biden campaign had agreed to for the June debate. Trump says he doesn't care if his microphone is muted or not, but he doesn't like the fact that the Harris camp is trying to change the rules they've already agreed to.
All of a sudden they want to make a change in the rules because she can't answer questions.
That is absolutely our preference in this campaign, to have live microphones so that the American people can see both candidates for who they are and hear everything that comes out of their mouths.
If the ABC debate goes forward as planned, it will happen on September 10th. That is 6 days before early voting begins in Pennsylvania. Turning now to our weather, and people across the West are facing a difficult recovery tonight after severe summer storms. The severe weather has claimed lives in Alaska and Arizona, and in Hawaii. Emergency managers don't yet have a full grasp of the extent of the damage left behind by Tropical Storm Hone. We begin tonight in Alaska, where a landslide has killed one person and injured at least 3 others south of Juneau. Storms were crossing the town of Ketchikan yesterday when a rain-soaked hillside gave way. Mud slid down into a neighborhood, taking out homes in the process. The hillside remains unstable tonight, and people who live in this area have been evacuated.
I thought it was lightning. Then all of a sudden our house started shaking. That was from the landslide and the house coming down into our yard. So we got dressed and we ran downstairs, got our pets out. Kudos and thank you, City of Ketchikan, KPD, fire departments, first responders for all the work they've done.
Leah Canfield says she's in a much better position than many of her neighbors are. She thinks her house can be salvaged while others in her neighborhood, their homes are destroyed. Authorities in Hawaii believe the worst of Tropical Storm Hone is behind them. Here is a live look tonight at the scene on the Big Island where the weather, as you can maybe tell from this shot, is beginning to clear. Hone skirted the south side of the Hawaiian Islands on Saturday and Sunday. Power outages are lingering there tonight with more than 1,200 homes and businesses still without electricity at last check. Flooding, another major concern. High water made it difficult for people to get around the Big Island today. Hawaii County Mayor Mitch Roth posted a video on Facebook earlier today warning anyone who's getting around to be aware they may encounter downed trees and power lines.
We still have some issues out there, still some roads that are closed. Kava Flats down in Ka'u, that highway is closed right now. It's causing some schools to be closed.
Hone's heavy rains have eased concerns, though, about the threat of wildfires across Hawaii moving forward. In Arizona, recent flash flooding is being blamed for the death of a woman visiting the Grand Canyon. Search crews say they've recovered the body of Chenua Nickerson. The 33-year-old was swept away by flash flooding in the Grand Canyon on Thursday. The Arizona National Guard rescued more than 100 hikers who became trapped by the high waters. For more, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Rosemary Orozco, who is tracking the impact of these summer storms all across the West. Rosemary?
Yes, Alex, that monsoonal moisture doing a little bit of a shift. Will be in the New Mexico area over the next day or two, with advisories expected there for flash flooding. Meanwhile, giving you a look here at Phoenix this afternoon, 110 degrees today, and Phoenix not going to see the same amount of moisture moving forward. Here's a look at the West Coast satellite view, and there we are over New Mexico, and you can see how it's just pulling in from the south. Meanwhile, the Pacific Northwest, showery and cool today. Those showers are going to move out, but the Pacific Northwest expected to remain cool. And the west along the state of California heating up today with temperatures well above average. This is going to push through and leave dry weather over the Pacific Northwest for tomorrow. Meanwhile, this ridge right in here is expected to last at least for the next day or two. Temperatures will peak right at about 100 degrees for some of our inland bayside communities into Tuesday afternoon. But going back to this area here, where flash flooding, thunder, lightning, small hail will be a possibility over the New Mexico area. And sliding in just a little bit closer, you can see how it's widespread. You can see the yellows and the reds indicating where we do have some thunderstorm activity even at this hour. And the advisory is going till about midnight, a flash flood, flood watch, I should say, going until about midnight for two sections of New Mexico. Likely to see a repeat on this for tomorrow, as again, it is expected to continue. So here's a look at the forecast expected for Tuesday in the Pacific Northwest. Those showers are moving out. We are dry, but we are cool. Temperatures in the Seattle area for tomorrow afternoon only in the upper 60s. Meanwhile, the state of California will continue with very mild to warm and hot weather. San Francisco Bay Area expected to hit about 70 degrees along the coastline. Meanwhile, the inland cities will be reaching near 100 degrees, at least some of those hotter spots. Southern California expected to do the same. As we switch over to the desert Southwest, going to be a hot one over areas of Arizona, 100 plus weather expected there, and the monsoons will continue into parts of the New Mexico area. There's a look at tomorrow afternoon, and you can see lit up in green right over the state of New Mexico. Here's a look at the forecast moving forward for the next few days. Areas over Seattle will get to a warm up as we get into Wednesday, Thursday into the upper 70s. Meanwhile, the state of California will be cooling down in the coming days. Phoenix, no such luck. 109 tomorrow, still 108 on Thursday. Alex?
All right, Rosemary, thank you. In the run-up to a busy holiday travel weekend, Seattle-Tacoma International Airport is continuing to deal with a cyber attack. Here's a live look at the airport tonight, where more than 200 flights have been delayed all throughout the day today. Fox 13's Alejandra Guzman spoke with travelers caught in the middle of this mess.
We just had a wicked time here. It's been really great. Love the people here.
With must-stop spots and scenic views, Seattle has its appeal, making it a popular holiday destination. Heading home is never easy, but this goodbye isn't as quick as it usually is.
I kept checking, every second, like, oh, I hope I'm not here any longer.
As soon as you walk in, the glitches are evident, with flight information displays off, a warning pushing you to airline apps as monitors are currently down due to a cyber attack.
Been anxious about it, just kind of going, I don't want to. If we miss this flight, then we don't get on another flight until tomorrow.
The issues first noted Saturday morning by Port of Seattle, who manages both the maritime and the airport.
We had saw some nefarious characters that may have been on our system early in the morning on Saturday, and as we would take precautions for that, we actually turned off our entire system to avoid anything further.
Through the day Monday, SeaTac Airport has seen 169 delays and 7 cancellations, according to FlightAware. Among the most impacted airlines, Frontier, Sun Country, Spirit, and International Airlines, all largely affected. The issues go beyond airlines to checked baggage, delaying a system of over 10 miles.
So what is occurring is that they can go to a certain point, but at that point they can't be separated to different parts of the airport where they would be loaded onto their specific aircraft.
Agents are helping passengers manually check in, TSA and its checkpoints running smoothly with little to no interruptions as they work off their own network. A chief security officer says cyber attacks like this one are not always targeted.
So they're not really going after these organizations in a super targeted fashion all the time, but when they opportunistically find that one of their affiliates has hacked something, then they spend a lot of time learning about the network and they stage the ransomware so that it hits many devices at once.
A big question everyone has: what information, if any, is at risk now?
Not as far as I know. We have not had anything that we've been aware of, but again, that is part of our investigation.
And that was Fox 13's Alejandra Guzman reporting for us tonight. The TSA says it's expecting its busiest Labor Day travel period ever, and it might be the same story on the roadways as well. Many Americans will mark the unofficial end of summer by getting out of town. AAA says lower gas prices could influence some people's travel plans. The national average for gas stands at $3.37 a gallon compared to $3.80 during the holiday weekend last year. Friday is expected to be the busiest day this weekend for road and air travel. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Rap, full of tall tales and lurid theatrics. That's how Sean Diddy Combs describes a sex abuse lawsuit he's facing. Coming up tonight, his request for the judge handling this case. Plus,
okay. I'm a Mexican. Oh, I'm a Mexican. Oh, okay. Filipino, what the f are you?
offensive comments made by a San Francisco Bay Area firefighter getting a lot of shares on social media. Tonight, more on the fallout over his behavior as his boss comes forward to apologize.
You saw in the video does not in any way reflect our dedication to integrity, professionalism, and community trust.
Okay. Okay. I'm a Mexican. Oh, I'm a Mexican. Oh, okay. Filipino. What the f are you? Filipino. What are you? Don't be racist. What are you, bro?
An off-duty firefighter in the San Francisco Bay Area is on leave tonight after he was caught on camera making offensive comments to another driver following a dispute on the roads. That confrontation involving an Alameda County firefighter is getting a lot of attention on social media tonight. As KTVU's Jana Katsuyama reports, the fire chief insists those remarks do not reflect the whole department.
The 4-minute video captures the two drivers arguing just after their vehicles collided near Lodi. The driver seated, Vath Touch, says the other driver seen wearing an Alameda County Firefighters Union shirt accused him of going too slowly in the passing lane and then started making slurs.
That's good. Yeah, good the cops are coming. It's okay. Oh, the cops are definitely coming. Oh, yeah, they're coming. Mexican. Okay. Okay, you racist. Hope you have insurance. I doubt you do. Oh, I do. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Going to work some lawn job.
The firefighter continues pointing to his shirt.
Come Mexican. Oh, I'm a Mexican. Oh, okay. Filipino. What the are you? Filipino. What are you? Don't be racist. What are you, bro? Don't be racist. What are you? It doesn't matter. I'm racist. I'm a firefighter.
On Monday, the Alameda County Fire Chief responded, saying the firefighter was off duty, but they are investigating.
I want to sincerely apologize on behalf of the firefighter and our department for his actions. What you saw in the video does not in any way reflect our dedication to integrity, professionalism, and community trust.
Touch says that this was a first. He's lived in Northern California for almost 40 years.
I see him from behind going in and out of traffic at speeds of probably 85 to 90 miles an hour.
The president of the Alameda County Firefighters Union, Local 55, also weighed in, saying they will cooperate with the investigation and, quote, "We are deeply troubled by the remarks made in the video. While the member involved was not on duty at the time of the incident, the comments made do not reflect the values we strive to uphold as a union."
He is a minority, and that doesn't change his right to be treated with respect and dignity.
Civil rights group CARE applauded the department for investigating the incident.
It's an opportunity for them to look at areas where they may need additional training.
Dr. Lisa Hill, a professor of criminal justice at Cal State East Bay, says tense situations can bring out unconscious bias.
Those are biases that we either don't want to acknowledge or we don't know that we have. And so in stressful situations, we start to spew out what comes to our mind.
The fire chief says the firefighter did express remorse. He is on paid administrative leave and, depending on the results of the investigation, could be facing discipline, even up to termination. Reporting from Dublin, Jana Katsuyama, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs wants a judge to dismiss a civil lawsuit accusing him of sexual abuse and other misconduct. That lawsuit, filed by music producer Rodney Little Rod Jones, covers incidents he says happened while working with Combs in 2022 and 2023. Today, Combs' attorneys filed a motion to dismiss the case, saying the suit is filled with, quote, blatant falsehoods. Several lawsuits accusing Combs of abuse had already been filed when Jones's lawsuit was filed in February. Combs has faced increased scrutiny since the feds raided his homes in Los Angeles and Miami back in March. Tonight, we've learned the name of the woman who died on the first day of the Burning Man Festival in northern Nevada. The Pershing County Sheriff's Office identified her as 39-year-old Kendra Fraser. They did not say where she's from or release a cause of death. The festival's emergency personnel responded to reports of an unresponsive person around 11:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. More than 70,000 people head to the festival in the desert north of Reno every year. One person also died at Burning Man last year. Before that, the last death was in 2018. In Las Vegas, the murder trial of a former Clark County official is now in the hands of the jury. Robert Tellez is charged with the 2022 murder of journalist Jeff Gehrman. Tellez has repeatedly said that he's innocent and that he's being framed. Prosecutors say Tellez killed Gehrman after he wrote several unflattering articles about Tellez. Attorneys delivered closing arguments today and then handed the case to the jury. Deliberations began just before 2 o'clock this afternoon, and they resume tomorrow. More police departments are finding ways to use drones to fight crime. Fox's Kennedy Hayes shows us how law enforcement is putting the technology to work outside of Denver.
Wheat Ridge police say since bringing on their drones in April, they've been able to use them to respond to different 911 calls almost every day. One of their drones recently caught someone breaking into an apartment.
We're really just pushing the limits of what these drones are capable for our department. So every call, every day is a new opportunity to see where we can take this technology.
A faster way for first responders to get eyes on a crime.
It's because of the GPS, it'll pick up exactly where we launched it from.
Wheat Ridge police say this June, one of their drones helped them make an arrest. When a maintenance worker called saying they saw some intruders inside this apartment, instead of sending an officer inside, they sent a drone.
You'll see it go up the stairs. We start noticing some articles of clothing.
Video shows the drone continue to investigate, then find a dog and a person sleeping in a closet. Wheat Ridge police say their drones also help with monitoring large crowds like at festivals and investigating car crashes.
It takes a lot of practice, a lot of patience, a lot of repetition, but these camera systems and these operating systems cover lots of different areas.
Police departments in every state have flown drones, according to a digital rights group, and drone capabilities are only advancing.
This is a big concern because right now courts are very divided on, for instance, whether or not a police department can fly a drone over your house and over your property with or without a warrant. Because in some cities, you have very strict rules about when and how Police can use this tech, but in most places in America, there's no regulations whatsoever.
Wheat Ridge police say they had to check with their district attorney before flying drones and are one of at least 20 departments in Colorado using them.
It is new technology, and so we're constantly looking at what are other departments doing? Is there any case law that is concerning this in other jurisdictions?
Wheat Ridge police say not every department's capabilities are the same. Some departments in big cities like New York have drones that can use thermal imaging to help find someone drowning in an ocean. As for the dog found in the closet, police say it was not harmed and the investigation is ongoing. In Wheat Ridge, Colorado, Kennedy Hayes, Fox News.
Up next on West Coast Wrap tonight, new revelations about what's being done with O.J. Simpson's remains. Coming up tonight, details from TMZ about how his children will be able to carry their father with them. Also, it's a marathon more likely to cramp hands and legs. We'll break down why a cartoonist decided to draw around the clock over the weekend. A bipartisan congressional task force traveled to Pennsylvania today to see firsthand the site of the attempted assassination of former President Trump. The lawyers walked the grounds of the Butler farm to better understand how events unfolded that day. The members also met with city officials to discuss security lapses, including how the gunman was able to climb onto a nearby rooftop and get off several shots. So far, 5 people have been put on administrative leave during the U.S. Secret Service's investigation. They include 1 agent from Trump's detail, a special lead agent from the Pittsburgh field office, and 3 other officials from Pittsburgh. We're learning new details tonight about what's being done with the cremated remains of O.J. Simpson. TMZ spoke to the lawyer who's overseeing his estate, who says Simpson's ashes have been turned into jewelry, with those pieces going to his 4 adult children. Simpson was cremated following his death back in April, and his children signed off on using his cremated remains to create those jewelry pieces.
Costs a little more than $4,000 so altogether, which is actually a lot cheaper, I would imagine, than buying a plot of land and having him buried. And obviously there were probably concerns that burial sites would, people would come to it and possibly deface it, or they might have issues with that.
And this all comes as the executor of Simpson's estate is trying right now to liquidate most of his assets to pay off tens of millions of dollars owed to the Goldman family. 2 men accused of damaging ancient rock formations in Nevada have been indicted. Both pleaded not guilty to the charge of causing injury and depredation to government property. They're accused of pushing chunks of ancient rocks over the edge of a cliff in the Lake Mead National Recreation Area back in April. The area was left with more than $1,000 worth of damage. A trial for those men is set for October. A cartoonist in the Phoenix area spent the weekend taking part in a 24-hour drawing marathon. Russ Kazmierzik Jr. held the all-day drawing session at his comic book shop, Drawn to Comics, in downtown Glendale. This is his 9th year doing it. His goal is to raise money for the national nonprofit foundation Kids Need to Read that promotes childhood literacy. Russ says he developed his love for reading from comic books. He believes holding something in print instead of gazing at a glowing screen makes a big difference in trying to encourage children to read. We sure know that's the truth. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you joining us. As always, have a great rest of your night.